Silver's being softly remonetized. I told you gold will be remonetized. I told you that 2 years ago before we all got to know each other, and it happened. It's happening. It's happened. Okay? It's remonetized as a store of value collateral at every central bank in the world. Just because they're not advertising it doesn't mean they're not doing it. Silver's next. Are central banks going to be buyers of silver? Probably not. They're probably going to be holders of gold. I think next year, after October, if the BRICS do their thing, silver is going to break that $30 area, and then who the hell knows where it's going to go? And what I mean by that is 50 won't matter if it gets above 30 this time, in my opinion.
When looking at silver reserves by country, collectively, BRICS now controls a majority of above-ground physical silver, with a staggering 129,700 tons of silver in their control as of 2022. Keeping our direct comparison to the United States going, the United States holds only 23,000 tons of silver, putting BRICS nations ahead by over 100,000 tons. Financial expert Vince Lanci acknowledges gold remonetizing, as central banks are buying it, and expect a similar trend for silver, with nations holding substantial vaults likely to acquire it. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa have bought almost 5,000 tons of gold for their official reserves in the last 15 years. Meanwhile, Vince anticipates a silver breakthrough after October next year, projecting it to reach a potential high of $50. However, he anticipates disinvestment in gold and expects a lower trend in gold and silver until July. J.P. Morgan, whose analysts have the highest conviction on a bullish medium-term forecast for both gold and silver over the course of 2024 and into the first half of 2025, expects that silver prices will likely follow gold higher, rising to average around $30 in the fourth quarter of next year. Moving forward, Vince predicts the need for interest rate cuts between August and October. Additionally, he believes in the cruciality of this period as BRICS nations prepare for a summit which will be more significant than the one in 2023. BRICS 2024 is scheduled to be conducted in October 2024 in Kazan, Russia. On January 1st, 2024, under Putin, BRICS welcomed 5 new members: Egypt, Ethiopia, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Iran. Gold investors anticipate record-high prices next year, when the fundamentals of a dovish pivot in U.S. interest rates, continued geopolitical risk, and central bank buying are expected to support the market after a volatile 2023. As the Fed is about to start cutting rates, precious metals will likely enjoy solid demand in 2024. A move above the $26 level may push silver towards the $30 level. Now, we present the clips of Vince Lanci's insights from her recent video with Arcadia Economics. Before we continue to delve into this discussion, please subscribe to our channel and activate the bell icon for timely updates.
The first half of this year will be marked with a big disinvestment on the gold side. There's not a lot of longs on the silver side. So you actually could see gold and silver drop and gold drop more. Or let's put it this way, the gold-silver ratio at 87 is lower today, which is a sign of stronger silver in a market that's being sold off. Now, is that good to have silver drop at all? No, it's not. But the point is, the metal's personality has changed. Gold is overbought and silver is oversold relative to each other. And it's overbought because the central banks have been buying it, but they're probably not going to be buying it for the first third, at least, of this year. And you're going to have a disinvestment cycle. And during that disinvestment cycle, gold will be unfairly hammered. Selling in gold gives opportunity in silver if you're a buyer. If you're not a buyer now, well, you might regret it come October, and we'll get into that. Between August and October, you're going to see the rate cuts you're going to have rate cuts in the second half of this year if you don't have them in the first half. Okay. And if you have them in the first half, you won't have them in the second half. So January to July, if there's no rate cuts, we're going to need them. Well, if there's not enough rate cuts, let's put it that way, we're going to need them August to October. August to October will also be as the BRICS start to prepare for the next summit, which I think is going to be even more important than last year. November to 2025, that would be this would be this year's buy season. And that would be this is what I hope to flow. January to July, sideways to lower. We expect it. We know it's coming. We're not panicking. August to October, I want to see activity on the BRICS side. Doesn't necessarily have to be buying. It has to be preparation. They have to get their payment chains in order. November to 2025, that will be how this news is digested. But this could be the year of the reset. And by that, I mean a public statement by the West acknowledging that the East has remonetized gold and is doing so in a softer way to silver. So that's all in this video. Why BRICS gold and silver launch October 2024, Hartnett's known unknowns, and we'll talk about that. But that's what led me to believe this. Number two, BRICS style buying. Okay, see the little blue rectangle there? That's the weekly chart going back. That's the blue rectangle is 2022 to 2023. Remember when India bought all that silver? Well, they bought it in this time frame here. And that's why silver just screamed higher. If you remember back then, the EFP was negative because someone was buying silver. Coin premiums were very high for multiple reasons, but someone was also buying silver. And the third reason, the BRICS were getting ready. Now, what does silver have to do with the BRICS monetizing gold? That's the key to this. But for this section here, I want you to understand that BRICS countries like India and Kazakhstan and China are like stackers. They buy dips, they don't buy rallies, okay? They play with patience, not panic, right? So buying metals is not the goal for them. Dollar independence is. So they have to do things. They have to buy metal. They have to divest, they have to sell dollars. They have to create payment chains. They have to create new contracts, new bilateral deals. So it's one piece of the puzzle. They're not always going to be buying silver, but they're buying silver. So if it gets, so they didn't buy, in 2023 this year, they were buyers. They just weren't that big a buyer. They have seasonality that they buy for holidays, Diwali, what have you. But they didn't buy as much. And so now here we are back here. So I think they're going to be buyers down here again. And if not here, then lower. But the point is, it's buying. That silver's gone. Bye-bye. All right. So BRICS style buying is to buy dips, not rallies. They buy when you buy.
During the interview, Vince Lanci underscored the importance of British nations incorporating assets like gold and silver on their balance sheets for potential collateral in the evolving economic system. Historically, in periods of political and economic instability, gold and silver have been considered safe haven assets. As BRICS nations push for a greater role in shaping the global financial landscape and challenge Western supremacy, uncertainties could cause a surge in demand for these precious metals. Furthermore, he disclosed that companies like Changtong in China are purchasing silver for industrial purposes and as part of the remonetization initiative. Let's get back to the interview.
Silver comes after gold. Why India and China bought? Okay. And most people that talk about China's buying will say China's buying because of solar panels, because it's industrial. And that's true. But we've done not an expose, but Bai and myself wrote a piece on China buying silver. And it's who that buys the silver that matters, not how much is being bought. And that's a flow trade. And the buyers of the silver in China was a company, and I may be butchering their name, Changtong. And Changtong is one of those huge companies, like the Japanese Kuritsus. I'm not sure what they're called in China. There's probably a word for it. But just call it a conglomerate. They buy and they make solar panels. They buy and they also have an investment division. They buy on behalf of the government of Japan. They are an investment fund for the government of Japan. All the silver they're buying doesn't add up to solar panels. They're also buying to own it. Why is India buying it? Well, India's not a big solar panel maker, at least not yet. India's a big silver buyer, but not like we saw last year, right? They're gold guys. So why are they buying so much silver? I initially thought they were buying, I had a tinfoil hat on. I said, oh, maybe they're buying some from Russia because Russia doesn't have access anymore, et cetera, et cetera. But whether they are or they aren't, that doesn't matter. The point is, other BRICS countries are buying silver when China is buying silver. And that's because they're not creating solar panels. They're going to remonetize these. Now, what do I mean by that? In 2023, at the August summit, the BRICS were given marching orders, right? And the marching orders for all the BRICS, China and Russia probably not so much, was get your financial houses in order and start to make a list of the assets that you have on your country's balance sheet that you wish to be considered for collateral in this new BRICS world. And that means, do you have gold? That's on your list. Do you have Pokemon? That's on your list. Are we going to accept Pokemon? No, we're not. but that's what you make. You've got to try and get it in there. Well, if you're a country with a lot of silver, you're going to say, well, we want silver to be monetized. Pretend you're Brazil. Brazil's got silver, right? Pretend you're Mexico. Pretend you're Argentina. Now, they're not all necessarily in the BRICS, but if they go into the BRICS, they're going to say, well, it's collateral, right? I don't really have a lot of gold, but I got a lot of silver. China's like, yeah, we don't have a problem with silver. We like silver, right? India's like, oh shit, well, if these countries have silver, then we want to buy more silver. China, if silver's going to be on the list, and it's going to be on the list, China's buying silver. Russia's buying silver. We don't see it, but they're buying it. Latin American countries that are part of it, silver. Other things will be on that list too. Government bonds, they'll probably be laughed at because, nobody wants government bonds from Brazil, at least not yet. We barely want them from China, but that's the idea. So the BRICS summit is going to be held in Kazan, Russia. It's the first summit with expanded members. See these countries? Saudi Arabia, gold and silver. UAE, gold and silver. Iran, gold and silver. Argentina, well, they may not be in this one this year, right? Well, supposedly they're not, right? Silver. Egypt, gold and silver. Ethiopia, gold and silver. These other countries are going to try and throw their oil in there as well for collateral, but that's not, you can't measure oil like you can measure gold and silver, okay? Russia, India, China, South Africa, boom. So now it's a BRICS 11, all right? So the remonetization of silver comes after gold. They've all already agreed on gold. Silver's a lot harder, but it's still easier than everything else on the planet.
An erosion of confidence in the US dollar could trigger a bull market for precious metals. As nations seek to diversify away from dollar-centric systems, they might increase their gold and silver reserves. History has proven that in times of inflation, the talk of a recession, geopolitical conflict, and the threat of bank failures, the money flows to silver. What are your thoughts on the future role of precious metals, especially silver, in the global economy? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you find this video informative, don't forget to support our channel and turn on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos. See you in the next video.